Hello and welcome to Up the Pilgrims, episode 5. This is the podcast for Boston United, and we are here to talk about Boston United and the National League North. I am joined once again by David and Stedders. Hello, chaps. We're going to talk first about the last two games that we've had. Peterborough Sports on Saturday, a 2-1 victory, and it was looking also good, wasn't it?
Sure was, yeah, absolutely, yeah. First half, excellent. Pressure from the Pilgrims. Deserved 2 goals after a bit of a shaky start. Peterborough Sports starting the game better than us. Boston netting them 2 goals though with a nice accomplished finishes from them two again, Mooney and Knowles. But the obviously deciding factor and turnaround factor was the Brad Nicholson second yellow card. Rightly or wrongly, bit of a poor challenge from him, really being on a booking to make that challenge. Give the referee very little option, I think, personally, but to give him a second yellow card, albeit I don't think the first one was much of a booking. And then it was obviously once Peterborough scored, it was a bit of a time wasting exercise, weren't it?
It was.
Any possible opportunity. I think Cameron Gregory was lying on the ball. We wasn't actually rushing to get back into play or putting the ball back into play. But yeah, overall, it was a job done kind of performance. Not a stellar performance, but still 3 points.
I think I have to agree with you with the Brad Nicholson sending off. The pitch was wet as well. Obviously, we had the massive downpour just before half time in the first half, and so the pitch was quite slippery anyway. And going in for the tackle, yeah, I suppose it was a bit rash by him. Probably did deserve the second yellow card, and obviously now he's going to miss at least one game, isn't he? Which I'd imagine would be this weekend.
Yeah, I saw the videos of the tackle. It didn't look very good, but it just fulfilled me with confidence again that we've had some decent wins of late, especially the Chorley one. We cut through them and we just played our stuff. But this was more of like a professional performance. We did our job in the first half, and all we had to do was marshal out the game, and we came away with the 3 points. And then yeah, we go to this weekend's game or the
Monday game against Russell Olympic.
Monday game against Russell. Yes, about that game, we had lots and lots of chances. It was different to the Peterborough Sports game. We just felt like we couldn't score. We created lots and lots of chances. Mooney had a few. Keeper made a few good saves, to be honest, but I can remember countless times where we've gone one-on-one with a keeper and we could not score. So it was a bit frustrating to come away with nothing. Nice little counter-attack goal, obviously with another individual error from Brad Nicholson. I believe the ball went over his head and he was trying to get Cam to come and collect the ball, and I don't know what went on, but he did the one thing there that I thought he could really put us into danger. And then obviously the striker latches on the end of it and just slots it past Cameron. So yeah, frustrating day out in Walsall, that for me.
Yeah, I mean, I managed to catch most of it, seeing it on the TV, and it was a very lackluster performance. Boston seemed to be very slow, especially compared to the weekend. It was like they've not, they were still tired from Friday's result, and it just didn't seem, they just seemed very slow, didn't they, Stedders?
Yeah, definitely. It almost seemed like they'd put a lot of effort into that Peterborough Sports game and not had much in the tank left for the Monday, didn't it? Interesting team selections as well, playing 5 at the back, which was very strange considering we've been playing 4 from the back successfully recently. And then the 2 omissions of 2 of the most improved players over the past 5 games in Dylan Hill and Ethan Sefton, which was very odd for me that Dylan Hill didn't start the game. And obviously with no Deji Satona on the bench as well. And that kind of game was absolutely food and drink for that guy. I think his craft could have got us a bit further up the field, won us a few more free kicks and that lot. We never really started playing until Sam Smart came on the pitch, and that was about 65, 70 minutes into the game. But yeah, wasteful chances in front of goal. We've probably used up all our 3-1s over the last few games, the amount of goals we've scored. But let's hope they can get firing again now in what is an absolute massive mammoth game on Saturday.
Yeah, I did think with Deji Satona being out, I looked at the bench and thinking, who is going to come on and actually change the game for Boston on Monday, because they just didn't seem to have that whiz up front, did they? And like you said, it just would have been the perfect game for him just to put his mark on it, really.
Yeah, well, from the start, I believe we set off at the 5 at the back, and there's been countless times where it's not worked this season. We can't play 5, and the question is why? Why did they play the 5 at the back? I guess one of the reasons why was Tom Lee coming back from injury, got an hour in his legs, and that's good because Brad Nicholson's obviously got his suspension to serve, so Leake's going to have to come in this weekend against Brackley. But yeah, uh, they realised their mistake in this, I believe, just after the second half, and then that's when we switched to the wing play system, and we actually started to look like a bit of a team, but we didn't have enough time in the end. And like you say, nothing fell our way. They were scrapping. To be fair, Russell, they did deserve the win in the end, but yeah, you just thought we could have gone there and got 3 points, but it's not as hard as that, is it?
It's not. And obviously this weekend, Brackley Town at home. Um, we'll talk about the National League North in a little while, but they got a good victory on Monday as well. So it's not going to be an easy game, is it? And it's a team that we don't always do too well against, really.
No, and notoriously a team that we struggle against. I believe I mean, David was at the one away game. We've actually beat them at their place, and that was the Keenan Ferguson scoring that goal late on in the game. But Brackley, yeah, are going to be a tough nut to crack. I think Boston now have got 4 games, haven't they, to try and turn this around. 12 points on offer. The only probably saving grace for them is that the teams play a lot of teams play each other that are above them as well over the next few days. And over the next few games as well. That could be their saving grace. But let's face it, they don't want to be relying on everybody else picking up points for them. They've got to do the job themselves. And I still probably think that 3 wins out of 4 is probably what they need.
Yeah, and I think likely that could be the case. That could actually happen. Though Hereford obviously will be a tough game in a few weeks' time away. But Banbury, I mean, they're not doing too well at the moment. They lost again on Monday. And then you've got Scarborough, who are kind of up and down. So it's going to be obviously every game is difficult as the old cliche is in the league. But yeah, I think like you say, 3 wins and we could just about make it.
Yeah, but it's those teams that are playing for nothing that can sometimes spring on you and cause the most or the biggest banana skins. You just got to be professional, keep going as we were, get this run back underway. As I say, get back on the horse and just try and finish this season strong. Because like we say, we don't want it where we get in on somebody else's merit or anything. We want to do it ourselves because we're in this position. We're in control. We just need to power through. And this form of late at this end of the season, it's been great, and it'd be a real shame to drop out of it now.
Definitely, you're right there. So we're going to go on. We're going to have a little chat now because this season Boston have turned to the hybrid system. I believe they were part time. They've been part time for the last few years, haven't they? They've turned to the hybrid system this year, and I'll be honest, I didn't know what the hybrid system was at first. I obviously looked it up, read all about it, and it was obviously a bit more training, not full time, but not part time. So they train 3 times a week, and they've been training at home, which is a new thing as well, because before this season they've been training, I believe, away somewhere like Doncaster. So it's something new, completely new, and I was quite excited by it. As the season's gone on, I've been more not sure about it. There's some games where we're playing part-time teams and we should be beating these teams, but the teams are looking better against us and they're only part-time. But then there's other ways where we've been playing better against full-time teams. What do you guys think? Starting with you, Stedders, what do you think about the hybrid system? Do you think it's a good thing?
First of all, I think it was a massive gamble and something very non-Newton-esque, to be honest with you, to allow them to give this a go. They must have come up with some proper business plan with this to put it forward to them. But it does show his faith in the management team, doesn't it? Allowing them to go to this model because, like I say, we've been a part-time for so many years now. And then to take that plunge and dive, and it's more financial, isn't it? And more financial risk as well, more than anything. That we've had to put more money into wages X, Y, Z. But then again, on the other hand, like you say, training at our own facilities, that like we were going to be saving money on that because we'd been renting the pitches out wherever we were training at. So it's a gamble, isn't it? It's a gamble. It really is. And then, as from the first season, have they got as many players out of that system as they wanted, hybrid wise? Has the under-23s come through as much as they wanted to, apart from Dalen Hill? All questions that we could all ask ourselves and have opinions on. And it's going to raise a debate, isn't it? If we don't get in them playoffs now, what's the first thing these fans are going to say? Is hybrid really going to work? Is hybrid for us? X, Y, Z. You can expect these comments and questions coming if we don't make that top 7.
Exactly. Go on then, David. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I think it's a positive getting the players back into Boston. I know it's formed sort of a link. Feel more hopefully it feels hopefully more like a club. I don't know myself, but it feels more like a connection, and they're more connected to the place. And we've definitely seen that with all the players going to the end. But you could also argue that the extra time does come against, especially these full-time teams like Scunthorpe. We went there and we tore up some turf, got that point in, well, rescued that point, and yeah, against these full-time teams. But like you say, we seem to struggle against the part-time teams. I don't know why. Maybe that's, you would have thought though, sorry, that the extra training made us fitter at the start of the season, but
Yeah.
we're seeing that sometimes, I have to say, we, like we said on earlier back in the episode, that we just looked a bit shot on them. They just running around, wasn't really that much running, not really that much energy in the place. So maybe we've overdone it a bit. But you never know. These are the questions that have got to be asked if we don't get where we want to be and it doesn't work. And like you say, the financial risk, we have lost a lot of money in this year. I know Mr. Newton's put some of his own money from the from Chester Homes into the club, as we saw in the accounts getting released. I think it was earlier this month. And yeah, it's a big financial risk, and like you say, Tom, these questions are going to have to be asked whether we continue to play like this, and you've got to evaluate, really, has it been a success or not? Like you said, the people that we got out of it, sorry, like Dylan Hill, Ollie Wilson was good, but
Yep.
I believe he injured himself in training. Jacob Hazel's injured. There's a fair few that's been injured in training, so maybe I have to sit on the fence really, because I believe it's got its positives, but it needs to work well for us to become successful. And I don't know if it's worked that well this year, to be honest.
And that's the other thing I've
I
noticed. Sorry, that's the other thing I've noticed as well with like you mentioned, like Saturday, we played okay. We kept Peterborough Sports at bay, did all right. But then it came to on Friday, and then Monday, it came to Monday, and we were poor. Is that down to tiredness from the players? And you think, especially this time of the season, players should be, well and truly fit by now if they've been on the system since August or July, August time. And you'd think they would be sort of raring to go but now.
Yeah, I think so. Like you say, I actually put it to Joe Simpson in our latest interview for the radio. I asked him, I said to him, how does it compare having 2 games against 2 different oppositions in such short period of time? And he says every team's the same in this league, so we can't use that as an excuse. My question is as well is I wonder how many teams are now seeing Boston as a big coup, though. A big team to play against, a big team to get a result against. They're up in their game. They want to beat Boston now because, like you say, they come to our stadium, they look at our stadium, they're envious some of these teams, and they're going to be, aren't they, with some of the facilities we've now got compared to some places we go to. So now us going away to these littler grounds, the Russell Olympics, XYZ, they're going to want to beat us. They're going to want to put that little mark against us. That's the first team as well, by the way, that's done a double over us this season.
Yes.
No other team has done it yet in anywhere else in the league placing. So I think it's a bit of credit to Russell as well for that last result. Is it tiredness? Is it the team not just performing on that one day? I think only until we get to Saturday, we'll only really know the real answer to that question.
And the other thing I'd like to know as well, is how many players are on a longer contract than just this season. I'd imagine he signed most of the players up for one season. Obviously, Jacob Hazel, I believe, is signed up for next season already. But how many of the other players will still be here next season would be interesting to know.
Well, with that Culverhouse contract extension, you would expect a fair few. I've been impressed with the majority of the squad this year. If you look from the statman Christian James, I believe there's only been like 5 or 6 changes, and only a few of them have departed the club this season. So they're adding what they like and what they want, and hopefully what's successful. But you just hope that like it all comes off really.
No, definitely. I definitely have to agree with you there. And as I say, I hope that a lot of them do sort of sign on again for next season. It'd be good to see some of them back again. And I mean, last season, just about all of that squad, bar Ethan Septon, I believe, left, didn't they? Oh, and Gregory, of course. But the rest of them just about they all left, didn't they? And we've had to start with a brand new team again. So let's hope we can hold on to them, and I think that will help pushing forward next season. That might help with the hybrid, that the players know what they're getting themselves in for. They know what it's all about, and they re-sign, and we can push that step further. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, the last thing we all wanting now is a mass clear out in it and to have to start again from scratch. Nobody wants that now, do they? To be honest with you, I probably think that this season it's like you say, it is hybrid, but I think it's more of an analysis season, should we call it? A lot of these things happen in 3-season periods, don't they? So the first one is the analysis. The second one is the one that you hope that you're going to get up there and do about with it. And if you've not done it by the third one, then you really do have to ask the question: have we made the right decision here? I think next season, if we don't do anything this season, is pivotal to this hybrid model, and to see if we do either take the full-time route, go back to part-time, figure out this isn't for us, or just stick with it. And as long as this management team in place, I think they'll just stick with it. But yeah, the management signing on again for the next season early is a good sign to tell you that they've got a good dressing room behind him of players, isn't it? That will hopefully all follow through and do exactly the same for us. Because, like you say, we've got some great players at the minute, I think, at this level. And maybe just a sprinkling and a few areas that need some improvement for the start of next season.
Absolutely. So let's hope we can move forward now from the hybrid and move on from there. I mean, if anyone's got any thoughts that are watching this or listening to this, I'm sure on YouTube you can have your say, or even on the Boston supporters page where we advertise. It'd be good to hear people's views on the hybrid system and what they think of it, won't it?
Yeah, I just have to raise another point here is that we know one of our players are currently training 2 days a week instead of the 3. We just got to also see it's important for the players that they're financially safe. As we know, one of them has had to go get another job and sacrifice his training sessions. But yeah, I just want to know how many of those players if they are if it's still financially viable for them and the club, and I hope everybody's happy with how it's going so far.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Obviously, having happy players as well, equals a happy team and does help the spirit of the squad as well, doesn't it? So,
Oh yeah, it sure does. Absolutely. One thing we did notice on half time as well on Monday, which was a very strange and odd demo, was at half time was that the management trio, should I say, didn't even make their way into the changing rooms until about 5 minutes till the restart of the second half. They sat down with their tactics board, trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then went and delivered it to the players before bringing them back out literally 5 minutes later. So it's very much a player-led dressing room. This we've always been told this as well, haven't we? That they don't actually go in and do pre-match um, chats or anything like that, or high five. They don't do this. They go out and sit on the bench and wait for the players to do it. They believe they've got the players and the experience inside that dressing room to motivate themselves. And boy, do they need motivating for these last 4 games.
they do. That is actually something that I've noticed at home games recently, that the management aren't as quick to get down the tunnel as as the players are at half time. And I have also, like what you just said, noticed it in a away game earlier this season that I went to, that again the trio just stood on the touchline. The players had gone in, and it was good 5 minutes till the management slowly made their way in. And I'm thinking, I think we were losing at the time, and I'm thinking, well, aren't they going to go and give them a team talk? But I
Yeah,
guess
but
it's their
that just
way, like you
shows
say.
that just shows the confidence, like you say, the amount they back their players, and that's why I think probably a majority of the squad will have hopefully signed on next year, and I hope they do, because it's been a quality squad this year. There's players in there that I can't remember that have been that good before, that have been that's been better than the previous squads that we've had. Obviously, we know Craig Elliott and his transfer saga, how many he got through, and it's just nice to have a bit of stability. And like you said, it's what we
Yeah.
need to really push on and hopefully go for promotion. We'll
That's
see.
it. Exactly. So let's just have a look at the rest of the National League North, shall we? Some important games this last weekend, especially on Monday. Some very important results as well that affected Boston and other parts of the league as well. And obviously, we'll start with Brackley, who are the visitors on Saturday. They beat Tamworth 3-0. Big result for Brackley, wasn't it? And well, it was a big result for Tamworth, really, too.
Yeah, Tamworth just seem to be stuttering this back end of the season, don't they? Just trying to get that. I think they're like literally 1 point away, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or something
Yeah,
ridiculous like that from clinching this title. So they won't be too worried just as of yet, I don't think. But yeah, a massive result for Brackley. Like you say, they now sit, I believe, in fourth, just behind Chorley. And obviously, Pilgrims dropping down to seventh after that defeat, which is the place that they don't want to be. And no, you don't want to finish in that seventh spot, because seventh spot means that you obviously play the highest team as well away from them top five positions, six positions, sorry. And them second and third have a nice, lovely week off. So they get to rest and you have to go again. So potentially we could be looking at another 7 games this season.
And we all know what happened a few years ago as well in the playoffs when that happened.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because you have to say, when we went to Kidderminster on that night I hope you're alluding to, was it the 2021 playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah. The it just seemed like it was excessive, because I believe we played, was it a Thursday? I think it was a Thursday night. Then we played the Sunday, and then we had the full week before York. But like you say, it was interesting though, because that was what I believe that was on one of the only seasons, because York finished in sixth, we finished in seventh. We both come through the rounds to get there. So it's quite interesting. Maybe that was the momentum from the previous games, because the week off, yes, they do get rest, but that is a week of preparing for the game, rather than this team that's high on confidence is coming into it. And like we saw against Fylde, we don't usually beat Fylde. I've got very bad disliking for Fylde, and it was a good day out of that, because we got their scalp and we beat them 2-0, one of the only times we've beat them in recent years.
And it's funny to see York and Fylde are both in the National League now, and we're still in the National League North.
Absolutely crazy, Damo. When you think about the teams that could potentially come down next season, this is the other thing that people aren't looking at. This could be Boston's better opportunity to get out of this league, because if you want to try and get out of a league with some of them teams that are coming down, potentially Kidderminster Harriers coming down again. So then what, if Scunny don't do the playoffs, say, and they don't get through, you're then looking at a league to win from Chorley, Scunthorpe, Kidderminster, all season pros at this level, and know what it does to get promoted if they really, really, really want to push and go for it. I just don't see Boston having a better chance in this season. Definitely not next season, anyway, unless they go and lift that league title. And we all know how hard that is.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, looking at the rest of the table, I mean, Scunthorpe United, they drew on Saturday with Kings Lynn 0-0, but they got a victory on Monday to keep the pressure on Tamworth. I mean, do you think they can catch them now? Or is it too late?
I think it's too late, to be honest, Damo. Scunthorpe just sort of faltering like Tamworth are at the moment, just struggling. I believe Scunthorpe's confidence is at a low right now. I know what they feel about the management team there with Jimmy Dean. It was an interesting appointment, in my opinion, and I think it's coming back to bite them right now. He's struggling a bit, and the whole team is, in fact, struggling to get those results. But no, I believe Tamworth. I was surprised, really. If you would have told me that Tamworth would have lifted this league at the start of the season, I would have been blown away. Like, I was expecting, when they started winning, I was like, okay, they're doing well, but they're a part-time team. They're going to drop off. And fair play, they haven't. They've stayed there.
No.
They've stood their ground. they've got the best defensive record bar R1, I believe, in the league's history. Yeah, I don't think they can lose it now. They're just 1 point away, but the last two results say the opposite. So there's still a chance. But I believe the only team that can catch them now is Chorley because they've got the game in hand. They need to win
Right.
everything. Tamworth need to lose every game for that to happen. And yeah, Tamworth just need 1 point to lift the trophy, and I have full confidence that they will do it before the end of the season.
Yeah, possibly even this weekend by the sounds of it. Who knows? But playoffs are getting interesting as well. I mean, Chorley and Brackley obviously are the third and fourth place teams. But I mean, you've got to look at some of the others. Kerrs and Ashton just keep on getting the results. You know, and there's other teams in there. Plus, you've got Spennymoor, who are still picking up results and are very close to the playoffs. South Shields, I mean, they lost it on Monday, but they're very close once again. It's going to be tough, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're talking about teams that Boston struggle against as well. Kerrs and Ashton are another bogey side for the Boston, aren't they? Just picking up the 1 point off them this season, and of course, Spennymoor's exactly the same 1 point. I think if you ask any Boston fan now who they what are playing these playoffs currently, I think South Shields would be the one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there.
Yeah, we turned them over twice this season. We can do it again. No, but yeah, like you say, you're fearing some of those teams coming up behind. Spennymoor are doing exactly what Kidderminster did last year, and if they can carry it on, they've definitely got a chance. You look elsewhere, Alfred, we know how they play.
Yes.
Professional, very professional team. Do what they do really, really, really well. And yeah, if we played them, I'd be scared. Most of these teams coming into it, Chester, I believe, they're dropping out. Spennymoor got the game in hand above them. I think they're slowly dropping off. But yeah, it looks like Spennymoor are the favourites to come in and snatch a place. Hopefully, it's not off us.
Hopefully not. And at the bottom, I mean, Bishop Stortford have gone, but they got a good result on Monday against Banbury, winning 3-1. So they're in it. And Farsley Celtic, they've dropped into the relegation zone now with after Russell's win against Boston. So now it's looking very interesting at the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Farty Celtic, though, Damo, are the absolute seasoned pros at this, aren't they? They're a kind of team that will now go and win every game till the end of the season and finish like 2 or 3 points above that relegation zone with absolutely nothing off that water off a duck's back for them, isn't it? I'll be surprised if Russell don't get out of it now, though, because what we saw on Monday, I thought they played pretty well, to be honest with you. And Darlow's just putting the points together when they need them as well. So it is all Farsley at the minute, isn't it? But who knows who's going to go out of them down there, to be honest with you. Like you say, Gloucester's already gone as well, haven't they? So
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're already finished. So a very interesting top and bottom. We can't say we haven't got an exciting end to the season, can we?
No, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. But going back to obviously this weekend, Boston United are home to Brackley on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff at the Jakemans. And they're unbeaten in 9 since losing to Kings Lynn. They've won 6 of them and drawn 3. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it? To say the least.
I believe this is the most important game of the season. If we get the 3 points here, who knows what could happen? But you just think it'll be a close game. I believe it'll be 1-0 either way, maybe even a defensive error. But Brackley don't concede that many goals. We're gonna have to be really good and step up on our day. And a proper season pro side. They got Danny Lewis in goal. Gazdean at the back, they're proper National League North established, let's say. And yeah, we're gonna have to really turn up and hope we get those points. And I believe if we get that, we can push on and hopefully get those home quarterfinals. Because I believe now probably the semi-finals are out of the picture.
Of course, and of course, Brackley and Boston. The last 5 head-to-heads, Boston have got 2 wins. Brackley have got 3 wins. But a bit of a bonus. Last season, Brackley lost at Boston 1-0 with a Tom Nixon goal.
Oh, Tom Nixon, what a player, by the way. We could. I'll gladly welcome him back anytime if Tom Nixon's watching anywhere. Yeah, come and see us next season. No, they've got to take that as well, haven't they, into it, Damo? There's that they've got to use that as fuel, haven't they? They can beat them obviously at home if they really go for it. But what they've got to do is just be clinical in front of goal. I don't think they're going to get as many chances as what they had at Russell and Monday, to be honest with you, in front of goal. So it's so important that they take what they have. And I know we mentioned him in the last podcast, but let's bring him up again for us. Jacob Hazel now available, we believe, for this squad, and openly admitted by Cully that he's training fully with the side twice this week with a view to putting him into the squad. What a massive boost for the Pilgrims that could be.
Do you think it'll be on the bench, or do you think he'll start?
Yeah, it'll probably be on the bench. He needs minutes in his legs, but like you say, he's one of these players that can come on and change the game. You give him a chance, and I'd back him. I'd back him to score. That's the thing. He's just one of those players. It's great that if Mooney or Knowles needs to come off, we've just got that his experience on the bench, and he can hopefully come on and win the game. We'll see.
Exactly. And let's hope there's a big crowd there once again, like last weekend against Peterborough Sports, because 2,600 plus there. Amazing turnout, wasn't it?
It certainly was, weren't it? And all I've heard all week, actually, from the groups that I'm with, a lot of my Man B Fat, shout out to them guys, go on whilst I'm here. But a lot of the guys that don't usually come bring their kids, and guess what the kids have been saying to them this week? When can we go and watch Boston again, Daddy?
Brilliant.
So that's what you want, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think it ticked all the boxes. It was a family day. Kids got in cheaper. There was free chocolate. It ticked all the boxes for everybody, didn't it? And it felt like a really good atmosphere there, didn't it? Like you say. But hopefully they'll come out in the numbers again to cheer them on. In what rightly David said earlier, is the biggest game of the season so far.
Yeah, and let's hope we get the crowd there, and hopefully a Boston United victory.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I hope so.
we'll come back and we'll analyse that afterwards as well. So we'll analyse it. We'll come back next week and see what we think of it. We'll either come back in tears or we're going to come back with massive smiles on our faces.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, hopefully it smiles on our faces. Fingers crossed. So, right, guys, thank you very much once again. It's been a pleasure, and we should be back next week. But yeah, thank you very much. And if you do like what you've seen, please subscribe. It'd be fantastic. Okay, thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best.
Yeah. Guys, up the Pilgrims.
Up the Pilgrims.
Yeah, I nearly forgot to get that in.